Welcome to the Dudes Review. We are the Dudes, and today we're reviewing new releases. So, Barris, what's first on our new movies list?
Well, first on our new movies list is Skyfall, and I personally liked the movie. It wasn't the best movie in the world, but I liked it. It had some pretty nice action sequences, some of them pretty unpredictable, and I think the only thing that really drew it off was that some of the scenes just didn't make much sense, and the first scene, although action-packed and pretty intense, didn't make any sense at the end because the person, James Bond, should have died, and he didn't. And that popped the question in my head at that point, like, if they rewind this movie, I'm leaving the theater. But they didn't, and I finished the movie.
All right. I actually didn't like the movie that much. I didn't think it was up to par with, the other James Bond movies, especially Casino Royale. That was my favorite new Bond film. But it was definitely action-packed, so I'll give it that.
Yeah, I don't think that many hardcore Bond fans really thought that it was up to par. They actually thought it was quite bad. I don't think that, I personally didn't like the movie. I thought Casino Royale, Daniel Craig, very, very good in that movie. And I just don't know what happened in this movie. I just didn't think it was good.
All right. And what movie did you want to talk about?
I saw Argo, and Argo was awesome.
Okay.
It was a little disheartening to see Ben Affleck be in the same movie, star in the same movie that he directed again.
You didn't like that? You didn't think he was as good of an actor as a director?
I don't think he's nearly as good of an actor as he is a director. I think he's born to be a director, and I think if he stayed behind the camera a little bit, as he did in Gone Baby Gone, I think that was fabulous. That was an amazing movie.
So you think you should just focus on being a director instead of an actor as well?
I think, yeah, hands down. But overall, the movie was great. The characters were very believable. I like the historical aspect. I'm a history buff. I thought that was really cool. And I thought that, although that there was some historical inaccuracies, it upset the Canadian population. But,
How did it upset the Canadian population?
Well, apparently, according to history, the Canadians were the ones that led the task force that got the Americans out, and the Americans helped. Because ultimately, it was the Canadians that put their name at the dotted line. So, but that was not reflected in the movie, and I think that's what upset most of the people.
Well, speaking of historical movies, I saw Lincoln, and that was a really great film. I loved it a lot. It was obviously it was a history film, so you know what happens in the end. You know that slavery gets abolished and Lincoln gets assassinated. But it was filmed in such a way that it kept you on the edge of your seat. And it was very engaging. And when you think of Congress and bills being passed, you think of just like people talking, and it's very boring. But
And you want to go to sleep.
Exactly, yeah. But it was very engaging. The dialogue really kept you on the edge of your seat, and it was definitely a solid film.
So it was definitely well written.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it a lot. So
Another movie I saw this weekend was Flight. It was really good too.
very intense movie.
Very intense. Not quite what I expected, which I thought was really good. I expected a thriller about, like a political thriller investigation kind of thing where it's about the investigation of him. He drank the alcohol on the plane, and that's what the story was. But instead, it was about him. And it was about an alcoholic dealing with alcoholism.
His sort of personal struggle.
It was his personal struggle and the struggle that he was facing, that he cast on other people. The wear and tear that alcoholism puts on other people. And, Denzel Washington, he's always solid. He does the same voice for every character, but he's always solid. And
He's one of my favorite actors.
I think he's got to be up there for everyone. But he was perfect for this role. He was born to play this role, and I think it was perfect. The whole thing went together very, very well.
Cool. Well, that's all we have time for today. Remember to like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you have any suggestions, email us at ceatv.dudesreview@gmail.com. There you have it. We're the Dudes, and that's the review.